Hey guys, welcome to part three, the last of the 17 different ways you can come up with book ideas. All right, so we just have five left in here. The other 12 you can catch in videos one or part one and part two. But we're gonna jump right in. So number one for this part three is mythological or fairy tales, right? Reimagine a myth or fairy tale with a new twist or setting in modern context. So, a book that has done this is Circle by Madeline Miller, which retells the story of an ancient Greek sorcerer with a powerful feminine twist. All right, and so the genre that this may work great for is fantasy, mythological fiction, and children's fiction. All right. So you can do mythological or fairy tales. And I used to love like mythological stuff growing up. So that's definitely a good one. Just come with a different perspective to it. And if you've watched like part one, part two, definitely, like I said, new twist as far as setting, different perspectives. What if something didn't happen? So we talked about the what if scenario. So, what if this particular Greek character didn't do what they were known for? What if they never did it and it was just a rumor? So, when it came time for them to do it again and people are expecting them to win, they are actually afraid because they've lied and let people carry on with the story. So, blah, 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 blah. And that is just another idea or something you can come up with. All right. Next here is actually dreams, right? This is something that I did not know about Alice Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. It actually originated from stories that he told the daughter of a family friend, right? So you never know where the next book idea can come from. And so I do actually have a journal for dreams. I believe the dreams are spiritual and that they can definitely, give you insight to some things. So if you have I think, well, we all dream, we just perhaps don't remember them when we wake up. But if you're someone that kind of remembers your dreams, or whether you have them every night or just occasionally, write them down, and you may be inspired by that to actually come up with a story. Or if the dream doesn't give you all, of enough content for an entire book, it could definitely be enough for a scene to definitely spark an idea. So some genres that this can apply to is surrealism, psychological fiction, and even science fiction. All right. So the next one that I have here on the list is cross-cultural stories. You explore stories from other cultures other than your own to find new perspective and narrative. But this is very, I don't know why the word sticky comes to hand, but just like before, when you are taking, I think it was in, what's it, video part one, when we talked about, da, da, which one was it? Well, when we talked about just in case if you use like adaptations, that's what it was. So that was in video one. So if you use adaptations, you want to be mindful of any trademark or copyright infringements so you do not receive, any legal letter or you have any legal issues. So in the same manner, when you talk about cross-cultural stories, you want to make sure that you're doing so respectfully and accurately, right? It can be a very sensitive matter. So if you are not familiar with a particular culture, you want to make sure you read books and do your investigation. Be honest and merge yourself within that culture. Meet some people, let them know that you are writing a book. Have them give them have them give you their perspectives, and if you feel bold enough, ask them to read parts of your story, depending on how far along you are, so that you can get an accurate opinion of the culture. They can let you know that, something may be found offensive. And I think we could take a lesson from a lot of these major corporations that you can tell they lack diversity in their marketing. And so when they launched a marketing campaign, they received a lot of backlash because they did not respectfully and accurately represent the culture that they were marketing to. So that is a great example of making sure you do your due diligence. And a great example of a book in this particular category is Khalid Hosseini's, and I pray that I said that correctly, The Kite Runner, which is set in Afghanistan, and it provides a window into Afghan culture and history. So genres that this works well for is cultural fiction, historical fiction, and travel fiction. All right. Just the next one is change perspectives. All right. You're gonna take a known story and retell it from a different character's point of view, like the villain or minor character. And so Grendel by John Gardner tells the story of Beowulf from the perspective of the monster Grendel, right? And so this may be almost similar to, I think, what I had in uh, slightly different. But changing perspectives, perhaps instead of turn antagonist, the villain, you kind of switch it up from a major character to a minor character. The genres that this would kind of work for is alternative history, fairy tales from the villain perspective, and crime fiction. All right. So the last one on the list of 17, the final video, is literary mashup. All right. So you're going to combine elements from two distinct stories or characters from different books to create a new narrative. And so for those of y'all that kind of are really into, I guess, the comic book world, the first thing that kind of comes to mind is like DC and Marvel. I guess they've had a movie or two. Don't fuss. I'm not really all into that world. That they've kind of, meshed and created something new. They come from two different worlds and they've created I guess a new movie or something new. But another one like this is The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen by Alan Moore, which features characters from the Victorian literature teaming up. And other genres that this will work for is fantasy, historical fiction, and adventure fiction. All right, so just a recap before we close it out. Mythological or fairy tales, definitely you're given a new twist for something in the Greek, a mythological thing, fairy tale, new twist, new setting, kind of a what if this did not happen or what if this did happen. Your dreams. Um, like I said, if you have a dream journal, you can kind of go back and it may spark an idea for a book or spark an idea for a scene within a book. All right, cross cultural stories. You want to make sure that you do this respectfully and accurately. So if you're not someone that's going to deep dive into a culture, do your research, get the opinions from those that are actually living within it. I would highly advise you to steer away from this because you don't want any backlash. All right, changing perspectives, retell a story from a different character's point of view, like a villain or a minor character, because those people are just often forgot about, Is that like a Robin perspective? Got Batman and Robin. Is there like a Robin? There probably isn't. You're probably gonna be like, duh. But we know Batman and Robin. I mean, we know a lot about Batman because I think that's Batman is DC, right? So, know a lot about Batman, but is there stuff, for Robin? He's like a minor character, or is it like the butler to Batman? Something from their perspectives, because they aren't hyped up, talked about as much. All right, and then the last one here is a literary mashup. You take two distinct stories or characters from different books, different worlds, and you put them together. Just be mindful of you're taking characters, stuff that is trademark or copyright. You want to tread that lightly. Make sure that you have your proper licensing to do so. before you venture out, invest your time into this, writing this book. I can breathe now. But I thank y'all so much for tuning in. I hope this series has blessed y'all so much and you have a great day.